You're rolling.
We're rolling. Hi, I'm DentistJess. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about that dreaded topic, flossing. Okay, you're probably not as excited as I am. However, I do think that it is something that's important to talk about. Lots of the times when I see patients in the dental chair, we sit them down and we're getting a medical history and I'm like, so, brushing, flossing, what's kind of your routine? And you see that sheepish like, well, I brush, but I don't really floss, I don't really like it, or it takes too long, or I don't really know how. So the goal today is to actually talk about how to floss, how to do it properly so that you are able to do it in the most efficient way possible, in a way that's actually going to benefit you and your health and make sure that you're actually getting them clean, in a way that hopefully won't take too long to learn so that you can incorporate it into your bedtime routine or morning routine or whatever works for you. So let's get at it. So this here is dental floss. This is Glide Pro Health. It's one of my favorite ones. But there's lots of different types out there. You can talk to your dental professional about what kind of floss works best for you. Also, if you're having a really hard time with it, these are floss threaders that you can also use. But today I'm actually going to show you how to floss with regular conventional dental floss. So first things first, the American Dental Association says that we should floss with about 18 inches or so of floss. I don't know about you, but I don't really carry a ruler in my bathroom. So what I like to do is take a piece of floss out. I go to just past my elbow or so. It's probably just over 12 inches, so maybe that's a little short, but I find it tends to work really well, and it's a lot easier than pulling a ruler out of my back pocket. Now, there's two different ways that you can actually hold the floss. The first way uses your middle fingers. So you're actually going to wrap the end of floss around each of the ends of your middle fingers until you get to about an inch or so right in between. You're going to have your pointer fingers on top and your thumbs on the bottom. Okay, so your thumbs are actually what you're going to use to go up, and your pointer fingers are what you're going to use to put it down. The alternative, you don't want to wrap it around your middle fingers, or you find this a little bit harder to learn, is you can actually do the opposite. So you can wrap it around your pointer fingers. So you wrap the floss around one finger and the other side, so you get about the same thing, about an inch, and you use your middle fingers on the top and your thumbs on the bottom. So again, you're going to want to have it so you kind of have these little like pincher claws that you're going to use to floss with. So you want your thumbs to be pushing up, fingers to be pushing down. Okay, I'm going to go back to the wrapping around the middle fingers where you just show you again. So you're going to reel it in from both ends so you have about an inch or so. Anything over an inch is going to be too flimsy. It's going to be really hard to control in your mouth. Anything really, really small, less than an inch, first off, that's not going to be very helpful. It's not really big enough to kind of get up there and maneuver it around. So they say about an inch or so tends to work. I find this works the best. So what you want to do is when you're flossing, say we're starting on the top, you're going to push the floss up through. You should hear a little bit of a snap. That's when it's going through what we call the contact. So we actually want to go up through that contact, and then you're going to do a little J or C shape up around one side and up around the other side. So you really want to get up there between the gums and the tooth, or if we're on the bottom, you're going to go down there between the gums and the tooth. But it's really important to get into this area because this is a pocket where we usually get food and bacteria and plaque, and it all just kind of gets stuck down there. So it's super important to go in and clean it out. So you go up one side, up the other side, and then you kind of want to clean a little bit around. You don't want to go up and down. It's kind of more of like a side to side motion. The other thing to be careful of is that you want to go down, up one side, and then up and over the little pink piece of gum called the dental papilla. We don't want to just rip the floss across there because it can hurt. But also we don't want to damage the papilla. So you just want to go down one side and then down the other side. Now, if you haven't been flossing a whole lot, it's totally normal to have your gums bleed. In fact, I would be surprised if they weren't bleeding, because bleeding is a sign of inflammation, which is usually what's happening when we have food and bacteria and plaque stuck in your gums. But I promise that if you start flossing regularly, your gums will slow down, if not stop bleeding altogether. Healthy gums don't bleed. So when I floss my teeth, they don't usually bleed, unless I have a popcorn kernel or something stuck in them. So if you're having a bit of a hard time getting the floss through in between your teeth, or if you just can't get it down at all, it might be time to visit your dentist. You may have a filling that needs to be adjusted a little bit, or you might have a buildup of calculus or tartar in between the teeth that's making it really hard to get the floss down. If that's the case, just book an appointment with your dental health professional or your hygienist, and you may be overdue for your cleaning, or like I said, you might need a filling to get smoothed off a little bit. The other thing to keep in mind is that the best time to floss, typically what I recommend to all my patients, is actually right before you brush. It's really important to go in and clean out all of that stuff that's down in there before you brush, so then you can brush it away. You don't want to leave it sitting there or brush your teeth and then floss and then you have all this stuff still stuck on your teeth. So I highly recommend flossing and then brushing. We usually say to do it once a day, so I always say to do it at night so it's not sitting there on your teeth overnight, and you get it all sorted out. Usually when I'm flossing, I start at the top on my left hand side and I work all the way around to the top on my right hand side, and then I switch to the bottom and I'll go right side back to my left side. I don't know why I do it in that order, it just seems to be what works well for me. Whatever order you find works the best for you, but usually I like to start on the top and then finish up with the bottom. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind, when you're going across the top, you'll see that I kind of swap from doing just thumbs to I actually just end up using my middle finger on the top to kind of help right at the front before I switch to go the other direction. That's something that I find helpful. Try it out, see if it works for you. Another thing you'll notice when I get to the bottom is that I actually, same thing, I kind of switch my hands. Right when I get to the middle, it just makes it a little bit easier to hold and control the floss. And the one other thing I didn't mention, but that I show, is that as you're flossing, as you're moving along, and you get a little bit of blood or the floss is getting dirty, you can actually just loosen. I'll show you. You can loosen one end of floss and you tighten the other. So say this part here is getting really gross and dirty. What I actually want to do is I want to tighten this finger up and I loosen this finger and it'll give you another inch to work with. So same thing, tighten up and loosen. So that's how you can get rid of dirty, or if your floss is bloody, anything like that. You just have to roll one finger a little tighter and the other finger a little looser and you can move right along the floss. With that though, if you do floss for every day for a month or so and your gums are still bleeding, there might be something else going on. After our mouth is the entry point for the rest of our body, so if there's something else going on, it definitely is a good idea to follow up with your dentist or your physician and make sure that everything else is normal. Sometimes autoimmune diseases or diabetes, other conditions like that can be linked to gum disease and bleeding gums. So if you are flossing and you're noticing that your gums are still bleeding a lot, make sure to follow up with your healthcare provider. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of our video today. Thanks for watching with me. Make sure that you subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, and comment below on things that you want to learn about, what you enjoyed, questions you may have. I'd love to hear back from you. Until next time.